The Dark Room. In the quaint town of Greendale, nestled between rolling hills and dense forests, stood an old Victorian house known to locals as the Holloway Estate. Its reputation was one of dread and mystery, a place whispered about in town, but avoided by all. One chilly autumn evening, a young woman named Clara Martin moved into the estate. Clara, a freelance writer, had been looking for a quiet place to focus on her novel. The Holloway Estate, with its creaky floors and dust-covered furniture, seemed like the perfect retreat. Ignoring the town's hushed warnings, Clara signed the lease and began settling in. The house was enormous, with high ceilings and long corridors lined with antique portraits. The air was thick with the smell of must and neglect. Clara found a small room at the end of the hall, which she decided to use as her writing space. It had an old, ornate door with a keyhole that seemed oddly pristine amidst the decay. As the days passed, Clara became more engrossed in her writing, but she couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. At night, she heard strange noises, soft whispers and faint footsteps that seemed to come from behind the walls. When she ventured out to investigate, she found nothing but shadows. One evening, while working late, Clara noticed a peculiar detail. The room seemed to be growing colder, and the air was thick with an oppressive presence. She brushed it off as her imagination and continued typing. Suddenly, the temperature dropped sharply, and the whispers became clearer. They were unintelligible at first, but soon she began to discern words. "Help us," and "trapped." The next day, Clara decided to investigate the room's history. She visited the town library and sifted through old records and newspapers. The Holloway Estate had a grim past, rumors of disappearances and unexplained phenomena, but nothing concrete. The most unsettling discovery was a journal entry from a former resident, detailing a hidden room within the house that no one had been able to locate. Returning to the estate, Clara's curiosity got the better of her. She scrutinized every inch of the old house, eventually focusing on the small room she used for writing. She examined the door, noting its unusual condition compared to the rest of the house. Determined, she searched for hidden mechanisms or traps, but found nothing. As night fell, Clara was once again drawn to the whispers. This time, they were louder and more desperate. She felt an inexplicable urge to open the door. Ignoring her trepidation, she found the old key hanging on a hook in the hallway, its presence as mysterious as the door itself. With trembling hands, Clara inserted the key into the lock and turned it. The door creaked open, revealing a dark, narrow staircase leading down into the bowels of the house. The air was colder here, and the whispers grew into a cacophony of pleading voices. Clara descended the stairs, her flashlight casting eerie shadows on the walls. At the bottom, she discovered a small, dimly lit room. The walls were lined with old, yellowed newspapers and strange symbols. In the center of the room stood an old wooden chest, bound with iron chains. The whispers grew louder as Clara approached the chest. She hesitated, but then, driven by a mixture of fear and curiosity, she unchained it. The lid creaked open, revealing a collection of old, dusty items: a broken clock, faded photographs, and a worn leather book. As Clara picked up the book, she noticed its cover was embossed with a strange symbol matching those on the walls. She opened it and found pages filled with disturbing drawings and cryptic writing. The further she read, the more she felt a growing sense of dread. The book spoke of a ritual performed by the house's original owner, a man obsessed with summoning entities from another realm. The ritual was incomplete, trapping the entities in the house and causing them to haunt anyone who ventured inside. Suddenly, the temperature dropped drastically, and the whispers turned into agonized screams. Clara felt a cold, unseen presence behind her. She turned around, her flashlight flickering, and saw shadowy figures emerging from the walls. They were spectral, their faces twisted in pain and fury. Panicking, Clara tried to flee, but the figures closed in on her, their cold fingers brushing against her skin. She raced up the stairs, the entity's cries growing louder. In her desperation, she slammed the door shut and locked it, but the whispers continued, now coming from within the room itself. Shaking, Clara fled the house, leaving behind the chest and the book. She never returned to the Holloway estate, and the house stood vacant once more. The whispers in the walls faded, but the town's legends about the haunted estate grew stronger. Months later, a new tenant moved into the house. They too heard the whispers and discovered the dark room, but they were never seen again. The Holloway estate remained a place of dread and mystery, its secrets hidden in the shadows, waiting for the next unsuspecting soul to unlock its dark past.